Welcome to the Air Power Airwaves, the Air Power Manufacturing Solutions podcast series where we talk about manufacturing issues that impact you. Hey, this is Travis Stirewalt with another episode of Air Power Airwaves, and today we have Mr. Brian Floyd with Bullard. How are you, Brian?
Good, Travis. How are you? Thanks for the invite.
Thank you. You've been a valuable part of our team for a while now.
Thanks.
We know that for sure. All right, so before we get started,
What's going on?
Kyle Crawford again in the studio.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Kyle is the sales and marketing leader.
That's right.
For Air Power. So, and I want to thank Jai, who's behind the camera, our podcast director and film extraordinaire. Thank you, Jai. You don't want to say anything?
I'm not really sure what to say.
Great job, Jai.
I always put Jai on the spot. No, Jai, this would not happen as smoothly and professionally without Jai. So thank you, buddy. All right, so today we're going to talk about Bullard. Bullard is a very common name when it comes to safety for both physical safety from an external sense in manufacturing, as well as safe, breathable air in the manufacturing facility. I'm pretty sure that everybody watching this podcast is going to be very familiar with the smells, the sights, the sounds of manufacturing facilities.
Paint, solvent.
Yes.
Yeah, powder coating, all that good stuff.
Why would you be watching this podcast if you're not into manufacturing to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to assume that. But what I will say is the products that we're going to go through today some of them make life a lot better in the manufacturing space. When you can make somebody's life better, more comfortable, many cases it becomes more profitable. It becomes there's less downtime potentially, not as many breaks, unnecessary breaks needed to kind of recover from heat or cold or whatever that may be. But we also have a situation where you're providing comfort to that person who's got to be in a booth that is literally 20 feet away, 40 feet away from a 450, 500 degree oven,
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of supplying, it's not a matter of pampering. It's a matter of just allowing that person to work in a comfortable space. So we're going to be talking about that. So we've got a lot of it laid out here. But first, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about Bullard, a little bit about what you do for Bullard.
Sure, absolutely. So Bullard was founded in 1898. We've been in business for 126 years now.
That's crazy.
Pretty amazing in this day and time to stay in business that long, obviously.
Absolutely.
But we're fifth generation, family held, still privately owned. Wells Bullard is our CEO now, so she's fifth generation, which is pretty amazing. Pretty cool story to tell.
And you said she.
Yeah, Wells Bullard, yep, absolutely. And we're a woman-owned business, so Wells.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very, very unique in this day and time for sure. And Bullard's claim to fame in PPE and safety and everything is we invented the hard hat in 1919 for the Golden Gate Bridge project to protect the workers. There was rivets falling down on the workers' heads when they were putting the steel up and everything. So that was the first industrial hard hat ever made in 1919.
Wow.
So
What was it made out of?
it was just a leather brim, like we called it the hard-boiled hat.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was made out of leather and everything. Basically, like sticking it in a pizza oven, and it hardened the helmet and everything. So that was the first industrial hard hat.
You still have some of those at the facility?
We do, yeah. We've got them at the factory
I'd
and
love to
our
see a
office.
picture of that.
And our display case. So yeah,
If we can get a picture of that, I want it up here, right here. That sounds pretty cool.
absolutely,
right?
yeah. It's a pretty cool thing.
I mean,
for sure.
you think about the ingenuity of something like that, where, you see pictures of of guys working up like in New York. The old timey
steelworkers.
pictures of the steel workers, and then you think about something like, let's put something on these guys' head so that when a rivet falls accidentally, it doesn't totally take the guy out.
Think about how many rivets had to fall
Oh,
before they realized they needed something on
yeah,
their
yeah,
head.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it
yeah.
wasn't just one. Like,
No.
it was a problem.
It was multiple. Yeah.
You also threw out an acronym, so PPE.
Personal protective equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's our main thing. Bullard is a kind of a niche manufacturer. So we do supplied air respirators, powered air purifying respirators called PAPRs. We do industrial hard hats, firefighting helmets, and thermal imaging cameras for emergency responders as well.
Perfect.
So that's our 5 product categories and everything. Okay.
And where are you based?
Our office is in Lexington, Kentucky, and our factory's in Cynthiana, Kentucky. So central Kentucky area. And then everything's made in the USA, which we're really proud of that as well.
So woman-owned and made in the USA. There's two solid boxes right there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
saving
definitely.
people's lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We
getting
got them all checked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a major
That's
box.
a pretty big one.
That is a major box.
getting workers home safe at the end of the day is the main thing. Yeah, absolutely.
So we talked a little bit about this, and when we always review material before we do a podcast, and we felt these were important to make sure we outline. But the impact to Bullard or impact of Bullard in the manufacturing space is really 3 things: increased productivity, reduce workers' comp cases, and increase employee comfort and satisfaction.
Sure.
So again, if you have not spent time in a spray booth that is right near a 450-degree oven, when the temperature outside is 105 degrees in the middle of the summer and you have limited airflow inside the plant, you do not understand how hot it gets in a facility. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in a plant and looked at a big temperature gauge on the wall and seen 122 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's not a matter of, oh well, we don't need to do that for our employee, because we've seen employees of our customers pass out from the heat.
Yeah.
They have medical events because of things like that people just weren't expecting.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
So being able to do that, hey, guess what? You have an employee that's actually comfortable with the temperature. We're going to talk about the ranges of temperatures a little bit later. But you got somebody who can actually relax a little bit and focus on getting work done instead of focus on not passing out and taking a break every 15 minutes to go down a jug of water.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to a plant in Mississippi where once that internal thermostat got to 115, they allowed all their employees, and I don't remember the break time, but it was like a certain amount of break time that they could go take in a conditioned space. So you talk about uptime, or we always want to promote efficiency, promote efficiency within manufacturing.
Right.
That's not super efficient to take breaks mid-production to go cool down.
Absolutely.
So this is a pretty critical component, to keep workers safe, keep them happy and healthy, but then also to manage your uptime.
Yep. Uptime, productivity, reducing chance of heat stress, all that sort of thing for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are exactly right.
So give us some of your stories. I'm sure you have stories out there in the
Yeah, I do. I've got a lot. So this is my 27th year in the industry.
Congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it. So 7 years in distribution, and this is my 20th year in PPE manufacturing sales. So,
and you were on a national level for a long time.
I was. So a lot of air travel and everything. So I'm glad to be back in the Southeast.
We're glad to have you.
Thanks, appreciate that. Love working with Air. We've been doing business with Air Power for over 20 years now. So
That's awesome.
We're much appreciative of everything you all do for us, for sure. But just some of the things. Some of the funny things I've seen over the years with climate control, we call them vortex or air conditioners on the table here. Just walking into a plant in southern Alabama, it's also referred to as L.A., lower Alabama.
Yep.
So this gentleman it used to be called sandblasting, but it's called abrasive blasting now because you can't use silica sand as the media because it causes silicosis in your lungs. So that's not a media that's available now to be used, but it's called abrasive blasting now. But this gentleman had been doing that job for over 10 years, and they never saw him smile one time his whole time coming to work. And we put a cooling device on him, the AC-1000 Vortex cooling tube, and I could see his face through the lens of his blast helmet, and he was actually smiling. And his boss was so happy, and he was obviously happy as well.
Absolutely.
So it made his day. He went home the next day after they purchased the unit, and it was like night and day. So it was amazing. He felt a lot better, wasn't as tired, didn't have to take as many water breaks and everything as well, too.
And we're also not talking about a monstrally significant cost.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
It's not like it's something that you're going out of your way to
No.
put in a $4,000 air conditioning unit,
Right.
you know, and changing the filter every 2 days. So we'll want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Just seeing somebody happy. Like
Yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, like we just want to make sure people are happy, they're safe.
yeah, absolutely.
That's a cool story.
That's the main thing, getting them home safe at the end of the day, and then not as exhausted and everything as well, too. So, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any other stories?
I've got a lot. How much time do we have?
That you can share.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Some other ones are just more worker comfort stories, like with a powered air purifying respirator, a PAPR, which is the blue unit on the table there. People that wear APRs, just a face piece, like a cartridge style respirator, that's a negative pressure respirator. And as you sweat, that can move around on your face and break the seal, where you can be exposed to potential, contaminants and stuff like that. So the PAPR is a positive pressure unit, so a lot more comfortable. And APR is a negative pressure respirator, like a mask style. So your lungs have to do all the work
I have to suck in to pull air
to
in,
filter
right?
the air, where like a PAPR will filter the air for you because it's positive pressure.
Okay.
So a lot more worker comfort that way as well, too. Not going to be as tired at the end of your shift and everything. And we have a loose fitting respirator. The soft hoods are loose fitting, so no fit testing, and you don't have to be clean shaven as well,
Yep.
which is a huge advantage also.
So was
No
Darth
doubt.
Vader an APR or a PAPR?
He would be. That's a good question.
Then he-
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's almost like an
Like the
S-
first thing that came to my mind was
it's almost like an SCBA, like a firefighter wears, with
Okay.
the cylinder on the back
Yeah.
and everything. I guess that'd be more like that for Darth Vader. Yeah, good question though.
Well, I know we were talking. I can tell you that I was wearing a Bullard helmet, the hard hat, when it saved my rear end. So
Sure, I remember you.
that was I can't say where it was at. I can say I'm not even going to say who I was with. I'm just going to leave it there.
But it was.
But I came up pretty hard because I couldn't judge where I was underneath something steel, and came up a little bit too hard, too fast, and yep, that was fun.
Were you having trouble seeing above you, Travis?
Could
when
not.
you raised
The
up?
brim was out probably here, and the way it was sitting on my head, it had to sit rode a little high, so
Yeah.
I didn't have too good of a view up.
Up or peripheral
And
or
so,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
it came down, and fortunately, the impact was a pretty heavy impact. But
Yeah.
I walked away pretty much physically undamaged, but my hearing device
Got knocked loose. Yeah.
it killed it.
Wow.
So-
Wow.
it didn't make it.
No,
Didn't make it through. Yeah.
so I had to deal with that, but yeah, I was very lucky to have that on.
That was a great thing that you had a hard hat on that day
Yep.
for sure.
I mean, had I not had that on, I think I probably would have.
Yeah.
I would have blacked out. I'm pretty
Absolutely.
sure.
Oh,
It's
sure.
That heavy of a
And
hit.
some sort of laceration or something on
So-
your head.
You could add a more significant injury or concussion or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a new style hard hat that we came out with a few years ago. Travis, it's called the Above View, and you can actually
Well,
see through
Look
the
at
brim.
that.
That's pretty amazing, but called the Above View, where you can see through the brim with a clear visor, gray or amber as well. So you have 3 different color options, but it gives you a lot more peripheral vision and everything. So I'd
That's
like
awesome.
to present that to you, sir.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Now, Travis,
Yeah.
if you could have seen above you, would that have happened?
I think.
That
Hold
would
on. Hold on. You're definitely more spatial aware of what's like right here. I can see my hand clearly right there. Mm-hmm. So without getting too crazy, I mean. But when you're ducking under something in a spray booth, and this, a lot of times when I go into a booth, I'm having to investigate
Right.
what's going on the filter wall, because that's my competency. That's what I deal with. So to get there in this particular booth, the booth was shut down, and I had to go under some very large pieces of steel.
Okay.
Was the only way to access. Other than that, it was just a get under and move around, and I had access where I needed to be. There was no other way to do that. And the only thing unsafe about the whole situation was me. So
It's getting back up.
Yeah.
so
yeah.
I'm a big dude. Sometimes we don't judge the distance and the height exactly perfect, right? And I got under it, no problem on the way in, but on the way out, I guess I just wasn't aware enough of exactly where it was.
Just misjudged.
And when I tell you, when I came up, I thought I was 100% clear, and I came up with force.
Right.
And the safety mechanism or the rest for your skull on the inside, it actually just sheared down straight over my hearing device.
Wow.
Shaved it off of the head.
That was impact.
Sent it flying just like that
Yeah,
impact.
that's the hard hat suspension.
And,
that came down on it.
I was actually
It's meant to do that, right? Because that's absorbing the shock.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
like shocks on your car. Yeah.
So in my particular situation, I probably, and I normally do this, I take my hearing device off before I go into a plant because I'm not deaf without it. I just can't hear like super high pitches, super low,
Right.
very low soft pitches.
Yeah.
But in a plant, I could hear you guys just as good as we're talking right here. Anyway, long story short, this is awesome. Thank you very much. 'Cause
absolutely.
are we using this at Air Power
I was going to
yet?
bring, so since that incident, like we feel like this is a better hard hat for us. Like our guys look up,
Absolutely.
look down. So
Yeah.
since then, we've outfitted, I think now all of our installation crews with this new Bullard hard
Oh,
hat.
that's great. Great.
That's
Glad
fantastic.
to
And
hear that.
thank you for
Yeah,
doing
thanks.
that
You
for
for
us.
that.
Yeah,
That's
appreciate it.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Awesome.
You just got to keep it on now.
Coming to a manufacturing facility near you. Me in my new hat.
That's right.
I'm just going to wear this hat. I like
Yeah,
it.
It looks good on you.
It does look good.
It's like the Air Power sticker.
That's right.
I like it. All right, so we're going to shift gears here a little bit. We've got our model.
Thank you.
Um,
Sort of.
we're going to start off with just kind of make this a beat the summer heat with Bullard. All right? If you don't know, you're going to know. They can cool you down when things get hot. So let's start
Can
about,
they heat me up when things get cold?
That
yes,
is a
within a
possibility.
30-degree
Okay.
range.
All right.
Absolutely.
Within a
Exciting
30 degree?
possibility.
Hey, we go to the Northeast, we go to the Southeast.
Absolutely.
So
That's
we got to
right.
do both.
Oil fields in Canada, all that good stuff. Yeah, Alaska. Yeah.
So all you snowbirds up there in Baltimore, we're going to warm
Pennsylvania.
you up by 30 degrees. How about that? All right. I don't know if we got the gloves for their fingers that warm.
I don't know.
We'll get the torso
Yeah.
and the body.
You probably have a source for the gloves,
Yep.
though. Yeah, probably.
There we go. All right. So let's get into it. First thing, we've kind of outlined this, is the Bullard supplied air respiratory system. So I guess part of that is the respirator.
Yep, that's correct. Yep, and we have we have the soft hoods. We're made of a Tychem, formerly called Tyvek material, right there, Kyle, to your left.
Is this it?
Yep, that's a soft hood, and once again, those hoods, no fit testing required because it's a loose fitting respirator, and you don't have to be clean shaven, which is a huge advantage versus trying to fit test a tight fitting face piece and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't work so well.
Yeah, exactly. You won't be able to get a seal.
So Brian, I have two questions. So first off, I'm going to put it on.
Uh-huh.
But there's two things. So when I put on this hose, there's two sides.
Yep.
You specifically asked me to put this swivel side on the hood.
The curved in on the hood, that gives you a little bit more play and flexibility when you have that attached to the hood and
Yeah,
everything.
and it does swivel. So this side
Yep.
goes on
Okay.
the hood, the head side.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
and then that other end will go on the blower of the PAPR. And then we also have a threaded breathing tube that's going to be a supplied air hookup as well that will attach to the cool tubes
Yeah, I
and
need to
everything.
put that on in a minute, don't I? I had another question, though. So when I get some new stuff, I always rip off my tags.
Uh-huh.
I can't rip this tag off.
That's correct. We call it sometimes a mattress tag, but you don't want to remove that because it has all the breathing air pressure tables and everything on it.
Okay.
And it also has what specific part number and the manufacturing date on it as well, which provides traceability. But yeah, you definitely don't want to cut that off because it's going to tell you what pressure ranges and all that good stuff. Yeah.
That is a really good point. 'Cause
I always rip them off.
I
but
know- yeah.
At home, I rip my clothes tags off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't want to. This is clothes.
That's
this is a
correct.
personal.
And that's why it's on the outside where it's not going to scratch the back of your neck and everything. And Kyle's going to fog up a little bit right now because he's not on the air and everything. But
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Now, most of this you tuck into your Tyvek, right?
So you're going to take that inner bib and tuck it into your coveralls. And when you have a PAPR supplier, that's going to blow air down in your clothing and give you some more comfort as well.
Get like air down my shirt.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Travis, you gonna blow in this and give me some fresh air?
Fresh.
You don't want it.
We'll
I
have to
just
get
had
him hooked
pizza.
up to the blower there. That way, when you get the air on, Kyle will be a lot better. And you don't have to put it around if you just want to hold it in your lap and put the air on as well. You can do that.
In my lap.
Either way.
Okay, so
That
talk
just
about
threads
this.
your tube in. So PAPRs versus supplied air respirator. If you don't want to be tethered to an airline, a PAPR is a good option. So that way you're not dragging 25 to 300 feet of airline around.
Yep.
If you're going in and out of small areas, that's a huge advantage versus wearing a cartridge style respirator. But then
I'm mobile.
yeah, and then hit that silver button on the top there, Kyle. Just hold that. Yep, just one time to smash it down. Just hold it for like 2 seconds. There you go. Then you'll feel the airflow coming in. Yeah, feels. Now you're not going to fog up on the inside of the hood and everything.
Now, I've seen powder coaters that have had this
Uh-huh.
because a lot of times, even in liquid situations, dragging a hose around,
Uh-huh.
it can bang on. It can knock on a rack that's got powder coated parts.
Yeah.
The hose can get caught and drag on a powder coated part and mar the surface.
Forklifts can drive over the hose
Yes,
as well
so
too, and wear them
this
out all
is
the time.
This is
you want to be
awesome.
careful because
Does
you're
that feel-
slamming
that feel
all
comfortable?
Blowing down my shirt.
And you can
Hey.
size that suspension
There you
in it,
go.
Kyle. It's like a hard hat. You can bring it down on your head and then tighten that ratchet in the back from the outside. You'll be able to feel the ratchet.
Have you been
and then
able to
tighten
see
it
the
up.
back of it okay, Jai?
It's a twist.
All right.
Yeah, you got it. There you go.
Stand up and turn around so they can see how it looks on the backside.
It feels a lot better with the air on versus
This is
just
a lot
having
better.
versus having a negative pressure respirator on.
You're very free, too, to be able to move around, do whatever you need to.
Yeah, like I could
Yeah.
Yep.
spray.
How do you
Yeah,
feel it
Yeah, it's
on your
blowing.
torso?
You know, put your hand.
It's,
It's-
it's
hold
blowing
on,
your
hold
shirt a
on.
little bit.
You can feel the cool air.
Down my shirt.
Yeah. And when you got coveralls on, they don't really breathe, so it's nice to have that extra air going down in your coveralls and stuff.
And then you
'Cause
could
they're not like
tuck
polyester.
the back in also,
You can tuck the back bib in.
and they
also.
would have even more
On-
air
on your-
coming in.
You'll have it on your chest and your back as well. Yeah.
So let's talk
Yeah,
about.
Ryan, I hit it again and it got slower.
That's a lower speed. So when you first turn it on, 8.5 CFM, and then toggle once like you did, and that drops it to 7 CFM.
Okay.
If people have allergies or contacts, if the high speed's too much air, that lower speed helps out from drying your eyes out and everything.
And then how do you turn it off?
Turn it off, hold it down for 3 seconds, listen for a long beep after the 3 seconds, and then release. So really, really easy.
So let's disconnect this. I'm going to hand it over to Brian, have him show us something on this.
You want me to keep on the hood or can I take the hood?
Oh yeah,
No,
you can take it off.
off.
Yeah, you're good. Thanks for doing that.
So with this, you have to be concerned with the filter. Mm-hmm. So I want you to go through the filter and the battery.
Yep, absolutely. So like Kyle was saying, 2-speed blower. It's a belt-mounted unit. So the battery on this one, it has a fuel gauge on it. So 4 LEDs. So for a HEPA filter, which is particulate for like a powder coating application
Yep.
and just dust and particles, you're going to have about 8 to 9 hours runtime. So 4 LEDs. We say 2 hours per light. It's like the fuel gauge in your car. Those lights will bleed out and go out as your time runs down in increments, so you know how much time you have remaining on your battery.
That can be affected by how nasty the room is, though.
It's all depends
If
on the
you've got
environment.
if your
Yeah.
filtration system in your powder booth is not pulling enough particulate out,
Sure.
and you're walking in a cloud of dust constantly
Yeah.
in an unsafe environment anyway,
Yep.
it's going to clog this up pretty fast.
Absolutely. And I don't have one with me, but it's called an airflow indicator test. It's just a clear tube with a ping pong ball on the side of it. So you attach that to here, turn the blower on, and if that ping pong ball floats up top, the floats past the top line on that airflow indicator, that means your HEPA filter is not loaded.
Yep.
And you can continue using that filter without changing it out.
So when I had that thing on right there in here, I was breathing cleaner air than y'all were breathing.
Yeah,
Because it's coming through the.
well, it just depends if it was a really dusty environment for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Or any particles flying around. And you can see that's the HEPA filter right there on the inside. Really easy change out on these as well. When you change them out, put it in at 11 o'clock where the goalposts are, turn it back to 12 like that, and it locks it in. So really easy on the change out. This one also has a that screwdriver right there, Kyle.
Yeah.
In the middle. This is a hazardous location unit, so it's Class 1 Division 2, which means something potentially could be above combustible or LEL level. So this has a quarter turn screw on the battery. So turn it like that, pull the battery out. That way you can't accidentally knock that battery loose and cause a spark in a flammable environment. We call it non-incentive, actually.
So
it-
this,
it's got the pogo
but this
pins.
system is, because it's that class in division, it is intrinsically safe.
Well, there's different class. There's Class 1 Division 1 and Class 1 Division 2. Class 1 Div 1 means normally above combustible or LEL level. Class 1 Division 2 means potentially above Class 1 Division 2 level.
Okay. All right.
And
Yeah.
I know we mentioned a lot about paint and powder because that's primarily what we do.
Sure,
But I mean, I also know that we've sold some of these units into like pharmaceutical applications. You know, it's not just paint and powder; it's any type of particulate.
Absolutely. Chemical manufacturing facilities, pharmaceutical. We have a lot of them in pharmaceutical plants. You and I have worked at the
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
in North Carolina, Kyle. So, yeah, absolutely. And that HEPA filter, we also have an organic vapor, acid gas, HEPA combination filter. So it's a multi-range
Okay.
as well for painting and stuff like that.
Okay.
So let's move into the cooling device, the cool tube segment of this, which would be connected technology, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess let's grab.
I gotta do this again?
Yep. So the
You don't
cool.
have to try it on, Kyle. You can just
No.
No, we're putting it on.
putting it on?
Absolutely.
That one doesn't have a belt on it, but these two do.
I put this on too, right?
Yeah, you can put the vest on if you want to. Yeah.
So the single cool tube. Do you always operate it with this, or can you operate it with Tyvek also?
So with the single cool tube, you can operate just the vest if you don't need a respirator. Let's say you're working outside at a paper mill and you have plant air you can plug into if you just want to cool your body.
Yep.
Or you can do the dual, we call it a dual, DUAL dual cool, which is a double vortex. So that way you can cool your respirator hood and your vest at the same time. So it's like a double.
So if I was connected to an airline here,
Uh-huh.
this airline goes into here.
Right.
I'm gonna cool my vest,
Right.
and then I'm gonna put this hood back on.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna cool my hood.
Yeah, you're gonna cool your hood,
Yep.
so your body and your head at the same time.
Well, that sounds awesome.
It's very good for, like, once again, reducing heat related incidents and productivity and everything like we talked about earlier.
And
And the weight is not bad at
You didn't
all.
give me an airline in here, did you, Travis?
No, we don't have a.
we're fresh out of airlines at the studio.
Okay.
The studio doesn't have a airdrop,
All right.
unfortunately, and that's going to go on your left hip, Kyle.
It really matters.
Yeah, it's good because your
your connection's
plug-ins
over
over here. Oh, on your right. I'm sorry. On your right. Your other right. Yeah, sorry.
So all cool tubes hang on the right hip.
They're going to be on the right. Yeah, on that one. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but then your breathing tube for your hood, it's a different breathing tube, pretty much the same, but that one won't connect onto that one. But you can see the how it would set up if we had the other breathing tube. The hood will actually thread onto the other portion of the dual cool tube and everything.
In nastier environments, would it be okay for somebody to put a Tyvek on top of this to keep that vest from getting?
Yeah, you're not going to have you would have to kind of like have a hole in your suit and everything, your coveralls, to be able to
Gotcha.
for that airport and everything. So
Gotcha.
you can. Most people will have it on the outside and everything.
So
Yeah,
am I
all right.
outfitted, or would there be another
Model for that one there.
No, you're outfitted. Yeah, you just have your like coveralls or blast suit underneath that. Yeah. So you're good.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks for trying that on.
Did you see enough? All right. Josh says yes. So this system here has a 30-degree range.
Plug it up. Yeah.
I was gonna fog it up and you have to ride on it.
So the good thing is when you have your
AP.
when you have your cold air blowing in there, you're not going to be fogging
won't
up.
fog,
So
right?
yeah. So that's a huge difference for sure.
So this system here has a 30-degree range.
Yeah, that's correct.
So if
Yeah.
you're in 100 degrees out there, you could drop this temperature to 70 degrees,
Down to 70,
which
yeah.
is much more acceptable in your current situation.
Absolutely. It's like a personal air conditioner almost. Yeah, that's definitely a huge benefit.
So go through the AC 1000 versus the HC 2400.
Yep, absolutely. So the one that Kyle just had on was the DC 5040, the dual cool. So that one's the double vortex, which is cooling only for the vest and the head. This one right here is the AC 1000. So this is cooling only as well, just for the respirator hood or helmet like
Okay.
that. And we also have a option to heat or cool. So this is our HC, stands for hot or cold 2400. So you can either heat or cool the air with this one. So if you're up in a colder environment, say Alaska, Canada, something like that, this is an amazing product where you can use it to cool in the summertime and then heat in the wintertime as well.
What's your heat range on that?
It's
You know?
about 30 degrees on
Oh,
this
30
one as
degrees,
well.
same thing.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, if it's like 20 degrees, really cold, you can bump your temperature up to 50
Perfect.
inside your respirator and everything, which is a nice benefit.
Need that in my bedroom. My wife keeps.
He
it
was
ice
throwing out
cold.
like Alaska and Canada, and I was thinking like last weekend when
Yeah,
it was like
no
30.
doubt.
I know, like North Georgia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Western North Carolina.
All right, so we've got that breathing hose, the actual the hose that you utilize for this.
Uh-huh.
Your hose has some minimums and maximums, right?
That's correct. So with a supplied air respirator system, you're running off of a compressor, at the plant, and you're going to run that through an air panel, which is going to have carbon monoxide sensor in it and filtration as well. And then you're going to tether into, your breathing air hose is going to connect to your cooling or your hot and cold tube, and then into your respirator. But the minimum length that we offer is 25 feet, and then the maximum allowed is 300
feet
per OSHA. So you've got that
Yep.
anywhere from 25 to 300 foot range
And 300 feet from what?
from the point of attachment, which is going to be your breathing air source. So like your
So
your
let's
air
talk
panel.
about the breathing air source.
Uh-huh.
I think that's pretty important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't just plug this into any
No.
airline.
Into anything. So yeah.
Not into an air compressor.
Yeah.
Not into anything like that.
Yeah, so this is our air guard unit. So this unit is pretty unique. This one has a large LCD display on the screen. It's going to show you if it alarms above 10 parts per million carbon monoxide in the U.S. Canada's 5 ppm CO. It'll tell you when to calibrate it. It does a walk down, like a countdown on everything. On the inside of the box is a little thumb drive, memory stick. That records a time-stamped event of everything, calibrations, alarms, all that good stuff. It's called OSHA data logging.
Okay.
So it's a really good record-keeping system.
Absolutely.
That way, because in a lot of manufacturing facilities in a paint booth, they'll have a chart on beside the paint booth in the box where they're just writing down the date that it's been calibrated and where they've done preventive maintenance and stuff like that. So this really takes the guesswork out of that, and it's a good thing if OSHA wants to look at their record keeping and all that stuff as well.
And this is also something that you do lock down in your facility so that nobody can tamper.
Yeah,
Getting into.
Password protected.
It is, yeah. It's got a password to get into it, and it's got 3 buttons on the front where you can scroll through the screen. It's very, very user-friendly, easy to operate.
So main air supply comes in here, and then we connect
To this
our
side,
breathing air hose.
right? So this is the outlet side that's going to come to the person wearing the respirator and everything. That's correct. So anywhere from 25 to 300 feet maximum.
Okay.
And this source can be any manufacturer, but like we've talked, Travis and Kyle, many times over the years, this is called a POA or point of attachment. So from this to the wear has to be all one manufacturer.
Hose to nose.
We call it hose to nose. So it has to be all Bullard or a Bullard competitor, say like a 3M or something like that. It has from here to the user has to be all one manufacturer. The reason for that, when we send stuff to NIOSH, which is the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, when we send like a respirator system or something like that in, it's tested as a complete system or ensemble. So if you're to modify that in any way, it voids the warranty and NIOSH certification and everything like that as well.
Understand.
And it could potentially, cause an unsafe
Right.
incident.
Hose to nose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we tell all of our guys, right?
Yeah.
Like hose to nose, same manufacturer.
Same manufacturer, yep. Breathing air hose, vortex cooling tube, breathing tube, and respirator.
And that's not a rule of Bullard. Like, this was mandated by the federal government.
Yeah,
because they want to
absolutely.
ensure people are safe. Like,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with brand or brand alliance. It's we want to make sure that what comes out of that box all the way to the operator is safe.
It's safe, yep, and that it's been tested, and then that it meets all the requirements.
And
Yeah,
part of that
absolutely.
was because people had lost their life due to hooking up an improper hose that they thought
Sure.
was to
Inadvertently.
and got some form of, I don't know, gas or something.
plugging into like a liquid
Yeah.
nitrogen tank or something
and
like that. Yeah.
and it's just boom, done, over.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
the
absolutely.
hose to nose makes sure that all the attachments are the same. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But that wasn't always a rule, was it?
It's been around for a while. I'm not sure what year that was instituted and everything, but that's so important now.
Yep.
I mean, to inspect all
It's
that.
definitely enforced now.
It is, yeah, and
Yes.
to educate our customers on that as well too.
Yep.
To keep them safe. Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, I've had a blast on this podcast. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Have we covered it all? We got Mr. Bobblehead.
That that bobblehead's at least 10 years old.
Bobblehead's
I can't
awesome.
believe you guys still have that. That's
We actually
awesome.
had an account manager look like the bobblehead.
Really
The
I might-
bobblehead lives in this studio.
Does it really?
Yeah, right over there.
nice.
He's the guardian of the studio. Comes to life every night and cleans up after us.
That's right. It's like the Night at the Museum movie.
The manufacturing elf on the shelf.
That's right.
Their bobblehead.
That's right. Bullard on the shelf.
That's hilarious.
All right, guys. Brian,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Travis.
much, man. And again, thank you for keeping me safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Join
you.
the Turtle Club, Travis.
Oh,
Yeah, the Turtle Club.
Yeah.
we did mention that. Okay,
yeah.
You want to explain the Turtle Club?
So the Turtle Club.
You have to
is-
do the hand signal before you start. You got to do the hand
What
signal.
is it?
It's been the turtle. Like that. So the Turtle Club's been around at Bullard for a long time, and if you're wearing a hard hat and it protects you from an injury and saves your life and everything, you can join the Turtle Club at Bullard, and we'll send you a nice certificate, and
Yeah.
you'll get the picture on the wall at the factory and everything, which is pretty.
Do you log in on your website? Like, how do you submit?
We do, yeah. Just log into the website,
Okay.
yeah, to submit it that way. Yeah, absolutely.
I will get that, and we will prove to you when it's on the wall in the studio.
That's right.
How about
That's
that?
right.
We need that link up, too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's
for
pretty
sure.
cool. Turtle Club.
Turtle Club. Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I want to join the Turtle Club.
You don't want to.
I don't want to join it.
No.
But if you do join it,
It's
it's
a-
an honor.
It
It
is,
is an
yeah.
honor.
And it's cool to know, like, for y'all, like, how many people y'all saved. And you said the pictures go.
Yeah, we put them in the factory and everything. So yeah,
That's
yeah.
really cool.
How many of them are there?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Yeah, they said the number the other day at our sales meeting, but I can't remember the exact
That's
number.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Travis.
Appreciate both of you. And we're going to close this out with a couple things. One, if you want to talk about any of this product, you want to buy any of this product, you want us to come evaluate your needs, call us at 1-800-334-1001 or go to airpower-usa.com for all things Air Power. You can even fill out a request on that for us to contact you. And with that said, there's tons more videos at airpowerairwaves.com. You can listen to these podcasts as well. With that, I'm going to leave you with what I always leave you with. Manufacture it a great day.
Thank you for joining the Air Power Airwaves podcast. Air Power Airwaves is a production of Air Power Inc. and Air Power Live Studios and is hosted by Travis Stirewalt. For more information, please visit airpowerairwaves.com. For more information on all of our products, brands, and manufacturing solutions, please visit airpower-usa.com. If you have any questions or need product support, please contact Air Power at 1-800-334-1001.